So this is where we park our vehicles when they're not in use. All these vehicles park overnight with their gear on, ready to get a call in the middle of the night to go treat roads. They have salt in the back of them that they're parked inside.
Right.
I mean, we can demonstrate it's not easy trying to walk through this, despite even the good lighting. It's a challenge to get from point A to point B without knocking your knee, hitting your hip.
Well, again, everything's got to be ready ahead of time. So everything's got to be loaded. All these plows would be on the trucks. The wings would be on the truck so that they'd be ready to go. So there's going to be even less room to kind of walk around in here to get going.
That's
One
right.
of the interesting things to point out is the plows themselves are actually a plastic type material with the metal cutting edges on the bottom. Everything. The wings are still metal and take a beating.
And
but
the framing is still all steel. The cutting edge, the edge that's going across the road is a hardened steel.
yeah, and we go through quite a few cutting edges in the wintertime because
Yeah.
it's called friction, right?
It's called friction. Yeah, it's not kind to the plow or the pavement. At any rate, so this is one of our 2 garage bays for parking vehicles and equipment. Not only do we have the plows in here, we have our large snow blower that we use to clear the windrow of snow in the middle of Main Street after a storm. We blow that snow right into the back of trucks that then haul it away so that...
and we hire extra trucks for that because we don't have enough trucks to actually keep up with the blower. That blower does quite a job in terms of how quickly it can fill up a dump body.
Yeah,
so
that's not
it's pretty amazing when you see that thing in operation.
That's not your typical hairy homeowner snowblower. It's a pretty rugged machine, and again, it needs to be stored. Like most of this equipment, it has to be stored inside.
Right.
It doesn't have to be overly heated. It just has to be above freezing. So we do keep it reasonably heated. It's anything but airtight. So.
And I noticed we have the vac-on truck that came from the sewer district, I think, right? And we use that for catch basin cleaning, or you want to talk a little bit about that? We, for years, didn't have one of those type trucks. So we would contract out our catch basin cleaning, and wasn't always great. But can you just talk a little bit about what we use that truck for? And I think you mentioned recently we used it when we did some repair work.
Yeah, so we were able to work a favorable deal with the sewer district as they were replacing their vacuum jet truck. We've made some slight modifications to it for our own needs, but primarily we use it to clean out catch basins, all the stormwater that goes into the catch basin. There's a lot of sediment and material that gets washed into them. That restricts flow, eventually builds up, restricts flow in the catch basins. So we'll go around and literally just vacuum out the catch basin of water and material to return it to its full capacity. So it's
works a little bit better than the old clamshell that you hung on the back of the truck.
It does, yeah.
Took a while to dip down in and pull up.
It's incredibly efficient. The fact that it's at our disposal means we can use it whenever. The example that you were just referring to earlier this week, we were repairing a catch basin. Groundwater started to infiltrate the hole that the crew was working in, and so we ran the truck over to suck all that out so that they had a dry working environment to replace that catch basin. The other thing we use it for, we've started using it, is more installing new road signs. We'll hydro excavate a hole instead of using an auger to dig it out and clean it out. We can just, it's got a high capacity pressure gun for spraying water into it, and then we just vacuum it up, and you've got a nice clean hole with minimal work to set your signpost.
And we can we use it also, I think, right, to jet out some of the storm drain piping, and you know, again, it's not only the basin that gets full of stuff. Sometimes the piping has sediment or whatever in there, and you know, to keep that clean and running, running smoothly. Again, we have a lot of stormwater infrastructure, catch basins and piping and that type of thing that really needs maintenance. And you know, I shake my head sometimes and wonder, how did we do it, or maybe we didn't, for all the years that, you know, for all that piping and storm draining that we have around town, to not have a piece of equipment like that is, to me, just, I can't explain how you could do without it. So
no, I mean, you're just creating more work for yourself when something does go wrong because a catch basin's not draining or a pipeline is clogged. Then
Right.
the water backs up. It's got no place to go. It creates flooding issues in the road, which is a safety hazard. Creates property damage both for the roadway and adjacent neighbors.
yeah, and we have in some neighborhoods, and I don't know them all off the top of my head. I know we have some mapping, but some of the foundation drains around properties actually drain to our catch
That's
basins and our stormwater system. So if our storm drains back up, that's not going to bode well for those that are hooked into our system. So
That's right.
another reason to really stay on top of maintaining that. One of the things we haven't really talked about is we haven't done a lot in prior years to add some staff. I mean, it's great to have the equipment, but and you know, even better to have a facility where you can store it and take care of it. But you also need the staff to be able to deploy it and run it and use it efficiently. And so I know that's another thing that at least in this year's budgets, you know, we're going to be talking about that. But the amount of expectation always seems to get greater, and to meet that, not only that expectation, but the increase in responsibility. You need the equipment and the staff to be able to do it. We're looking at that, and you know, Public Works is this. We said this building 1946, and not a lot's changed since then. I will say one thing though, again, structurally with the steel and beams and everything, they built it to last the 80 years or whatever.
It's inadequate for what we're trying to do, the equipment that we're using.
Trucks are a little bigger.
Trucks are bigger.
Than they used to be 80 years ago. Some of these beams we actually had to do some welding on, if I remember right, because they were victims of some salt over time.
The facility is such that if you were working on a truck body like we've got here, and you needed to raise the body of the truck, you actually can't do it inside. So any type of repair, no matter what time of year it is, no matter what the conditions are, if you were working on a truck body where you had to lift the body, it's actually going to be done outside the building. So the times when most of that stuff happens is wintertime during a storm.